Hey guys, welcome back to the farm. Hey, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, stick around for a while. Today I'm going to give you a rundown on this outdoor wood boiler and how I use it and some of the things I do. You've seen how I move the wood closer. I take the skid steer and drop them off. This is rated, I think, at 4,000 square foot to heat, and I'm using all that. That's 2,000 square foot building, and my house is over, it's probably 2,500 square feet. So I'm going to show you if you can still save money by buying all this wood and cutting it yourself, opposed from what I have here is propane. So first, this wood, this was this whole semi-load. There was a little bit more. There was some here. I had burned a little bit. That's a top of an oak tree. I got to split. That didn't come with this. This was 20 full cord, I believe. I don't quite remember, but this is some people I get the wood from up north, northern Michigan, loggers. This is all, most of it's been dried and seasoned. You can see how it's like punky right there. This is the stuff that didn't make the cut to get boards cut into it, but it burns well. I've been buying wood now for a few years. This would last me a year and a half. So this was $2,400. So I want you to make a mental note of that or write that down. I paid $2,400 and this is gonna last me a year and a half, and it's heating my house and the shop there. The shop usually keep it 60 degrees. The house 73 to 74 degrees. And those of you guys that live out in the country, you see there's not a lot of wood line here, not a lot of windbreak. We catch heck here with this wind sometimes. And that house of mine, I'll give you a better look at it in a minute, but that was a school. I've got the newer windows and I've got it updated, but that was still an old schoolhouse. Equivalent to you guys that have old farmhouses. You know how they heat. The propane bill can eat you alive. I did it for years. I've had this in for probably 12 years, maybe a little more. And you can just, like you say, you chuck it up. Look at the size of the logs. I'll put this in a second. We're about to fill it. Woodmaster 4400. I'm wondering if that 4400, maybe you guys can correct me if you know if that's for 4,400 square foot, because that's probably about what I'm heating. So here it is. It's empty right here. Got a good bed of coals in there. We'll fill that up in a second. Basically, there's a blower down here that when this temperature, there's a thermostat. It goes below 170 degrees. It'll kick right on. It'll fuel them logs. And there's two pumps on the back. I've got one pump specifically. Now there's water lines I got buried going underneath the ground. Fully insulated, 4-inch of foam, like in a drain tile pretty much, but it was commercial bought. There's a pump running in that garage. I'll show you how I heat it once we get in there. First we got to take care of this mess here, but then I've got lines running through past them into the house, going into my furnace. Basically it's a heat exchanger. It's like a radiator. It slides in your furnace and the water circulates, and that blower blows it. Just basically the same concept as how your car produces heat and it blows out the vents. It's producing heat off the engine. So anyway, I'll get more in depth with that in a second. Let's fill this stove and get this cut up, and I'll show you how I do it, and then we'll keep going. Now, I've been doing this for, like I said, over a decade. You gotta be very careful not to hurt your back and pinch your fingers on the delivery. Up! Big girl. I ease it like that, and I get right down here. Big girl's in. Okay, it's full. We'll turn this on, shut it up, turn it on while we cut this up, but it's a workout. One of the advantages, it keeps you in shape. Get you out here breathing this warm air. Very calm today. I'm breathing this cool air. Very, very calm, probably 25 degrees. So, about perfect. This saw is extremely wicked. I'll give you a rundown on it once we get So then I'll just take and I'll start stacking this up. Back to, this old girl's going 147. Take a quick look. She's starting to go. I'll give you a rundown on this chainsaw. Husqvarna. You know, I've used a lot of steel in the past, but Husqvarna's a damn good saw. 372 XP. This is commercial grade saw. Man, she rips. So just regular 2-cycle fuel and bar and chain oil in there. Other than that, this is how I'm doing it when I get a good break in the weather. And if I had a bunch of weather coming, snow, I would put big pile. But this is all I've been doing. Doing a couple little loads once a week, once every 2 weeks, and going. It's been fairly mild this year, but it sure is nice having that wood sitting right next to the stove. Okay guys, wood stacked up. That's probably, with this milder weather here in Michigan, you know, 20 to 30 degrees, Michigan's mild. So that probably get us by a couple weeks. But now I'll take another day, maybe in a few days, and I'll drop another load. I've been leaving these stringers here to drop the wood on. It's easier to cut it when it's up, and that way you're not running your chain. You don't want to run this chain in the dirt. You'll dull it out real quick. Let's head in. I'll show you how this barn gets fueled and heated through the stove, and then we're gonna head in the house, check on the family, go in the basement, and I'll show you how that inserts into your furnace. Okay, we're gonna set that right here. Yeah, it's pretty warm in here. This is fully spray foam insulated. You don't want to try to heat one of these. This is over 2,000 square foot. You don't want to try to heat one of these without that kind of 14-foot ceiling and blown in insulation. This is what heats it. This is a commercial grade, made for circulating water like that. My father-in-law does heating and cooling, commercial, works on boilers. That's rated for 2,000 square foot. That's basically a radiator. If you look over here, that water lines, they said, go underneath the ground. I had to run them up. Do you feel that? That's hot. That's 170 degrees. That's going in up the top, and it's coming out the bottom and going through this one here. And it's all it is. And there's a little pump on the back of that stove, low pressure pump. It's just circulating that water. And then when I want heat, see right here, she kicks on. He's got this. I had 220 ran to that plug. And we looked at putting different ones in there, but 220 he figured would be most efficient as far as my electric bill. But that's it. And there you go. I mean, that was probably $1,200 to $1,500. He didn't even charge me to hook it up. But so that wasn't cheap in itself. And I know with these barns, you can put in the radiant flooring. You put the PEX, basically same concept I'm doing, in the floor. But it was just going to be a major project. And we ended up just pouring the floor, and I went this route. I just got this fan hooked up to kind of keep the heat down if it's really cold. But right now, it's so mild in here, and it's just nice. It's nice for Rochelle when she pulls the van in. You got the baby to get out. Like you say, she even says it. She knows she's spoiled, but I would rather my kids be safe and not getting frostbite. We're gonna head in the house, check on them. I gotta take these clothes off, see what everybody's up to. Well, Grant's getting crazy. It's kind of a hangout day. Everybody's home. Hi guys. Yeah. 73 degrees. So you see this is a thermostat that runs the wood burner, and this runs the furnace. And this is set where if it goes like 68 degrees, then it'll automatically kick on the furnace. So there's two thermostats. This just runs the blower on the furnace. So I'll show you how it works. How's everybody doing?
No crying on.
Chloe's hanging out. Mom's hiding on the couch. Summer, Grant, give me 5, bud. He don't know what to say. New carpet. We just got this new carpet rug put in, and Catherine's taking care of little sissy. Whoa! Bye-bye.
No, he's working out like I was.
Sissy's just kind of hanging out. Nice little baby. All right, guys. We got to go in the basement, all right? Hi, hon. Making our way down the front entryway of the house. I said out there earlier, this was a school, so this was how they got in these original steps. Here's a picture from 1959. This was when they stopped teaching school in '58, and this person bought it, made it into a house. So yeah, what is that car there? Anyhow, let's go down to the basement. I'll show you how that's set up. And we're in the basement. This was a crawl space. I had to bust this block out. And this is where the tubes run through. You feel them, they're really hot. They're really hot. And all they do is they come running through here. And I got this into a T. This is how I fill that water. It's kind of dark. I got a valve here, I fill it. And this is for the water heat exchanger. It's just hanging off the side. It just filtrates inside, and it helps out that hot water heater. And man, I tell you. So I heat my hot water, and I use the furnace. This, see where it goes in right? So right here is where these pipes come around. One goes in hot, one comes out as a circulating. You just cut a hole in the side of your plenum, the top or the bottom or whatever they call that, and it just slides in. And that blower fan, when it kicks on, it circulates it. And you go in here and you wire your furnace for only the blower to work on one thermostat. You run another thermostat wire to run so that the actual furnace can work if it reaches below that temperature. That's if your stove's out and you're out of town. Doesn't happen very often, but kind of a mess down here. It's a work in progress. This isn't a Michigan basement. House was built in 1912, but it needs a little work, but it gets a little wet down here, is why I don't do much down here with it. Check this out. You got some uniforms down here. Let's get back upstairs. Head back outside. I'll show you the propane tank I use for this house. It's just a smaller one, because that hot water heater still uses a bit of propane. The heat exchanger on there really makes a big difference. You can tell when I quit burning. We heat 8 months out of the year pretty much in Michigan, so there's only 4 months. So it's just a smaller one here that we're using, and they only fill it. They don't come and fill it very often because I don't use a whole lot. It's all wood heat. Let's check in on that wood stove. I'll explain to you how that kind of works with the thermostat. Starting to cool off even more. Anytime you see an outdoor wood burner like this smoking heavy like this, that means it's up to temperature. It's running where you want. So there it is, 170 degrees. That means the blower shut off. When this draws and when that garage starts calling for heat and the furnace starts calling for heat, the blower's literally blowing the warm air through the radiators, pulling the heat out of this. This temperature gauge will go down to 160. When it goes down to 160, the thermostat clicks and it turns this blower on, and it'll refuel it back up to 170, shut back off, and it's a continuous cycle until you're about out of wood and you got to fill it up. But we'll look inside there in a second. You can set these to like 180, I think, if you want, on real cold temperatures. But as far as this stove, I fill it with this temperatures in the 20s, 30s, once a day. Be careful opening that thing up. I only fill this once a day, and it lasts 24 hours. When it was -15, those days, it was, if you can even look in there, that's what it looks like. That wood just baked. When it was really cold, I was filling it roughly every 12 hours. I was really paying attention to it and checking on the power, because you don't want to lose power. You lose power on this and don't set your generator up in time, them water lines, that whole tank could freeze solid in temperatures like that. But that's why I have the generator. Someday I may get an automatic backup generator. Might. I always say it's a joke, if I live long enough. If I get old enough where I don't want to mess with the generator. But as of right now, my one's fine. Okay guys, back in the office. Special guest, the Grant man, Grant Siegler here. Hey, you see that little cart he was riding around on? He got that from my in-laws. Rochelle's parents bought it for him for Christmas. He could not figure that. It runs almost like a skid steer. And he was sitting there and running trash can over backwards. Could only go backwards. At one point he wasn't even in it and it was pretty much running him over. But the next day or two, he figured it out. Grant, we're talking about you. He figured out how to run it. He was doing laps around the van. Rochelle sent me a video of it. Couldn't believe how fast that they learned. But so that was some motor skills. He's still got to learn how to run and do other things like that and get off his butt. But he learned how to run a little mini skid steer there. Anyway, the wood burner. So that's cranking, and that's keeping the house at 73 degrees. We've had it up to 75 degrees. I try to keep it, don't get too crazy. It's a drafty house, don't think it's not. There's a ton of windows in my house, and we keep this heater on here 60 degrees, give or take. But so to do all that wood was $2,400, I said. It'll be a year and a half. So we'll say this year I'm gonna burn $1,600 worth of wood from that load. You break that down, I mean the heavy months would be January, February, December, January, February, but 8 months out of the year, if you busted that down per month, it's not terrible. And I'm keeping the house at 73 degrees, heating my hot water. The hot water is unbelievably hot on demand. It's nice. You take a hot shower and it gets all the stuff, dishes clean when you're cleaning them. But I think it's worth it, even though I buy it. Once you buy it once, you keep on buying it. My other brother burns. He doesn't buy the wood. He finds time to cut, but I'm busy. I've got 4 kids. I've got this young guy, and I even got Summer and my 2 other daughters. I'd rather spend time with them, and I know eventually I could bring them out in the woods, but I've got too many things going on, so I'm going to continue to probably buy it as long as I can get it. You know, I order that stuff ahead to make sure they get it dropped off, because it's nice to go out there, drop the load there, and cut it. Those are like 10-foot lengths, so usually I just cut them twice. And I have the 3 logs, but some of them bigger ones you've seen, I was cutting them 4 times because I don't want to hurt my back. So, and on top of it, it's like a free gym membership. It keeps you in shape cutting that. You know, I mean, you're still cutting the wood. You're just not dropping it in the woods, loading it in a pickup, getting it here, unloading it. So it just saves a lot of time. And for me, my time is very valuable, just to be for family time. So that's how I look at that. But anyway, maybe you can leave in your comments. He's getting excited. That a boy. Maybe you leave in the comments what you keep your house at and how much you spend a year in heat. $1,600 a year up in Michigan, keeping it 73 degrees. And then for comparison, before I had this, you know, say 10, 12 years ago, I was keeping this house at 60 degrees. I was single. It was cold. I didn't like it, but I didn't like paying a propane bill. I was paying probably $4 grand a year to heat this and keep it at 60. So the heat coming out of them, so roughly is about 170 degrees blowing through your air ducts. Maybe you HVAC guys out there. What temperature comes out of a furnace, I don't know. I don't think it's 170 degrees roughly. Probably a little less than that because it's a travel. You're going to lose a little bit, but that's why these houses out here in the country, when you heat them with one of them compared to like a propane, I don't like it. It just does not. You biting that? It never heated this house right, but everybody's got their own thing they want to do. I like to burn wood. That you see some of that wood's punky anyway. You know, it's not good for much else. So, hey, what do you think, Grant? You want to send everybody off? Hey, a lot of people bought sweatshirts and hats the last 2 months. I appreciate it. FarmFocus.com for a sweatshirt and a hat. There's a whole bunch of them. A bunch of these sweatshirts and hats, camo hats. A lot of these camo hats were sold, so I appreciate it. You're buying the swag. He's getting excited. He's got some. He's getting a little aggressive here, doing some things. What do you think, bud? He's still not saying a whole lot. His little sister, I'll bring her in here soon. She's cocoon and talking. Look at him, shaking the whole table. Bud, relax, sonny. Relax. Relax. Still waiting on that haircut. Still waiting on the haircut. Okay, guys, take care. I'll see you in the next video. New year. Been slow, but we've been cherished in the family time. So, thanks for all the prayers and take care. God bless.